235 kilometers, over 4,000 meters of elevation gain. The Three Peaks Challenge is probably the hardest one-day cycling event on the calendar for road cycling in Australia. Myself and a few friends, after a couple of beers at the brewery, had the genius idea that we'd all buy tickets together and do the Peaks Challenge. And let me tell you, I've already gone through the 5 stages of grief of getting over that I have to do this event. Denial that I'd actually bought a ticket, anger at myself for buying the ticket, bargaining, thinking that maybe I could just refund it, depression about subjecting myself to a torturous one-day ride instead of just having a social cafe ride with my friends, and finally, where we are today, acceptance. So that's what this video is going to be about. How I'm preparing, not training, for Three Peaks. Weirdly enough, you guys really wanted to hear my opinion on this. I'm not a professional or qualified athlete. I thought it was really interesting that you want to hear what I have to say about this. So this video is going to be about how I, a more casual and cafe rider, is preparing for one of the hardest endurance cycling events.
Good morning people, and welcome to another video. I'm all about low-hanging fruit. I'm about those little changes you can make in your lifestyle and your daily routine to get the maximum benefit. And I've come up with 3 things that I've implemented and I will be doing before Three Peaks, which I think will help me get across the 10-hour mark. Well, I guess help me get across the finish line in under the 10-hour mark. So this morning, before work, I'm going to Centennial Park just to do a little bit of a workout, and why don't you come along with me? My 3 strategies to getting sub 10 peaks, which by the way is untested and not scientific. I'm gonna get roasted on the Nero show for this. First step, increasing fitness. This is a no-brainer. Anyone who does peaks should be going into the event at like optimal peak fitness, but I'll talk more about that later. The next thing I want to talk about, strategy 2, is pacing and nutrition. My last strategy is what I call throwing money at the problem. And this is the most fun one, all right? This one is scientific actually. So, let's get into it. You know how before I said that for me, low-hanging fruit includes making minimal lifestyle changes? Well, for me, social riding is a big part of my lifestyle, and that's something I didn't really want to give up. I really love riding with my club. I like riding with my friends, and I didn't want to be one of those people who just disappear for like 3 months of the year to train for an event. So I was trying to think of the best ways to incorporate training / preparation into my already roster of riding. So here's what I'm doing. Step 1 is increasing volume. Volume is the name of the game in cardio sports. one reason why I love cardio sports. There's no shortcuts. You just have to do the volume. So what I've done is I've added another ride or two to my weekly schedule. One great way for me to incorporate that is I just commute into work early. I leave my backpack and then I go for a ride before work. So I can get a solid hour or two of riding in before work. And the other way is on the weekend rides, if there's a chance for me to add a little bit more on at the end or do an extra climb during the ride, then I'll do that. And the third one is just egging my friends on to do stupid 300-kilometer rides. So I've been successful in that. I've managed to get them to do 2, which is 2 more than 0. And in that way, I've actually brought my weekly mileage from before it was about 180 kilometers a week. So I think on average, I'm probably doing about 250 to 300 kilometers a week right now, which I think is a nice, happy spot. The next thing I want to talk about for fitness and training is to be a bit more intentional about your riding. So what I mean by that is, say I ride 4 times a week. Not every single one of those can be a smash ride. And in fact, or if I tried to do that, they'd probably all be very mediocre smash rides. What I'm trying to do is at the start of the week, I'll pick the rides where I'll ride with like a faster group. And then I'll dedicate those to being like my tempo and threshold rides. And then the other ones, just doing them at zone 2 and recovering. Because recovery is actually a very important part of the equation for training for these events. So, the next thing I want to talk about, strategy 2, is pacing and nutrition. Now, I was actually pretty skeptical about how I'd go in this event, but I've been reading and talking to a lot of other people about their experiences at Three Peaks. And one of the things that keeps coming up is that you can still get a pretty good result even with suboptimal fitness if your nutrition and your pacing strategy is down pat. You don't spend too long at the rest stops and you minimize stoppage time. So going into this event, it's 10 hours. I'm gonna try and bring as much food as I can with me. I'm gonna bring a flask, maybe with 400 grams of carbs, as well as a whole bunch of other snacks. And also try and bring as much water as I can to minimize my stopping time. And I hope doing this strategy, I won't have to hang out with the faster guys. Instead, I can kind of just go my own pace. And if I can go my own pace, then I can just eat in my own time and not feel rushed. By the way, if you can't tell from the footage, I'm doing hill reps. That's why it's just looping footage of me going up and down this hill. Why did I video this going uphill? Just a brief note on nutrition. So one good thing about doing these 300k rides has been, that's really helped me figure out what works and doesn't work for nutrition. And what's been working for me is drink mix, whole bunch of gels, and then reserving the solid food for the savory stuff. I think that really works for me, especially over these longer distances. And so that's what I'll be doing. I haven't completely nailed down the nutrition strategy yet, so I won't talk about fully here, but it'll probably look about like 500 grams worth of carbs and gels, maybe another couple of hundred in drink mix, and then to top it off, I'll bring on some savory snacks. I haven't decided what that is yet. Donski's great, but lacks carbs, so may need to find an alternate. And that brings us all the way to our third and final strategy, the most fun one, throwing money at the problem, which we need to go home to do because you guys will love this. I'm going to talk about what bike I'm going to use, how I've modified my bike to make things a little bit easier, and you know what? I'll tell you how much money I spent as well.
everybody, and here it is, what you've been waiting for, the bike that I'm going to use for Three Peaks. I'm using my Monda. I don't think this comes as a surprise to anyone because, well, first of all, just to clarify something, I don't actually own the Trek Madone. This is my personal bike. The Monda is my personal one. I've been modifying it. I've been using it for a couple of years now, and I just love this bike. So I'm going to run through the things that I have specifically bought for Three Peaks to help improve my experience and hopefully my time. And we're going to start with the most controversial thing, which was I bought a saddlebag, guys. So I ended up buying the Silka Matone saddlebag. It's about $70. And the things I've gotten here is I've got my electric pump, I've got a few tubes, TPU tubes, my tire levers, a quick link, and a multi-tool, as well as some other bits and bobs like a patch repair kit. People hate the look of the saddlebag. I agree. I'm not a big fan of it either, but having a saddlebag means I can free up a pocket space for food, which is extremely important. Okay, let's move on to the next thing, which is gearing. I bought this 1134 cassette off AliExpress. It is the same weight as the Durace cassette, except it's like $300 cheaper. So this cassette is $140 off AliExpress. It's black. I don't remember buying the black one, but it actually looks kind of cool. And something about this cassette is the shifting sucks. Yeah, I'm not going to beat around the bush about it. Shimano definitely have a patent for a reason. The shifting is not great. It's a bit clunky. That being said, like I said, it's $140. It weighs 250 grams for an 1134, which is like ludicrously light. And my wallet is thanking me. The 105 cassette is over 100 grams heavier, but the shifting's better. So you guys tell me. The next thing I want to talk about, which I don't have on the bike yet, but I actually have it right here, is some side loader bottle cages. The reason for this is that I can put way bigger bottles on. As you might notice, because I ride a size 50 frame, one of the issues that I have with this little triangle is that it's very hard to fit big bottles in without hitting the frame. So I bought these carbon side loader bottle cages of AliExpress as well for $6, way cheaper than anything else that you can buy. And I'm gonna pop them on for Three Peaks. The next thing I want to talk about, which is a bit of a vanity project, which has been my carbon cranks. These carbon cranks are from Alili. They look really, really nice. They integrate pretty seamlessly into the Shimano chainrings. So you can see here, it comes with a spider, which just integrates into the Shimano chainrings like that. And those are about 200 grams lighter than your normal Integra ones. Maybe a bit more actually, maybe 250 grams. So it's actually pretty decent weight saving, but it did cost me just under $600. So you can ask yourself if that's worth it. I think a lot of people online are going to say no. But for me, that was a bit of a vanity thing, as well as something that I thought, good way to save some weight. Now, on to my final thing, which I fully acknowledge is a bit of an influencer perk of being a YouTuber, and it's these Ascent wheels. These are the custom wheels that I got sent from Ascent. They've got decals of my dog and my name on them, and they are super light, 1,300 grams for the set of them, including the rim tape. And have a look at this. There we go. There's pictures of my dogs there. It's got my name on it as well. Steel spokes. Very 24mm internal width, so I'm running 30mm GP5000s. And yeah, they've been super light, super great. I've only used them for less than a month, so I don't want to say too much about them without using them a bit more. But yeah, so far they've been awesome. This bike setup without pedals is 6.6 kilos, which is nuts. I never thought consider myself a weight weenie, but without knowing it, I've just gone and spent like $1,000 on random stuff to make my bike lighter. Anyway, by the way, these wheels, the RRP for them is about $2,200. So if you were to pay for everything that I've talked about just now, it'd be about $3,000. Yeah, lost touch with the common man. One last thing that I haven't bought specifically for peaks, but I did have just lying around that I want to talk about is a top tube bag. So this top tube bag is from Restrap, and I've been using this on all my long rides. As someone who videos my rides, this has been really handy because I always need to carry a camera, extra batteries, maybe sometimes a power bank, extra memory cards. That goes into there, or some food and gels, and it just frees up a bit more room in my pockets to carry the things that I actually need to, like more drink mix, electrolytes, that kind of stuff. So I'm really loving the top tube bag right now. I'm definitely going to be using this for peaks. Alrighty, so that is going to wrap up the video there. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, all these things I had to say about how I'm preparing for peaks. And let me know in the comments below if you are preparing for peaks as well. What are some of the low-hanging fruit things that you have implemented into your life, into your training program? And I want to hear all about it. So pop that in the comments. Anyway, thanks very much guys for watching the video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.